All right, for this one, I really need to wear my hat, right? Because this was the video that I wanted to make. Newsflash: do Jews believe in heaven? CNN declares no. Rabbi Kolakowski declares yes. I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up. I'll tell you the story. My Rav growing up, my mother's Rav, my Zayda's Rav, Meir Belitsky, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, was the Rav in Young Israel of New Hyde Park. Was the Rav of New Hyde Park. He was the only Rav there. He was the only Orthodox shul in New Hyde Park. I think it still is. I don't think some kind of Chabad house there. I don't think they have minyan there or anything. I think the Chabad rabbi he davens in Young Israel. I hope so. I hope he doesn't try to destroy what little they have there. And it's a nice neighborhood, New Hyde Park. So anyway, Rabbi Belitsky said Rabbi Belitsky, he was a Talmud of Rav Hutner. So, Rav Hutner was a very special person. He taught his Talmidim how to be Rabbanim. He gave over certain things to them that he didn't get in other places. I'm not going to expand on that anyway, but Rabbi Belitsky is a Talmud of Rav Hutner. He became a Rav in Young Israel in White Park. He stayed very frum, despite being in a very modern community. He didn't do things that the Gedolei Yisrael wouldn't approve of, things that I do. And I should learn from. I remember being Menachem Avil by Rebbetzin and by some of the children there. He didn't go to the Levaya and listening to his son's Hesped in Yerushalayim. If I make it to Yerushalayim again sometime, I'd like to go visit Rabbi Belitsky's kever. And his son, who was it, Yitzchak, was saying how he didn't. They wanted him to be the chaplain in Long Island Jewish Hospital. That's where I was born. It's right down the block from Young Israel. And they said, but you have to join New York Board of Rabbis. I'm a member of New York Board of Rabbis. And he said, all the Gedolim say you can't join New York Board of Rabbis. He didn't join. I mean, again, I'm a Hasidic, so I could be a Shaykitz because they're a Rebelach and Satmar Hasidim and so forth who are members of New York Board of Rabbis because they want to be chaplains, they want to have a job, so you pay whatever. I'm sure back then it was maybe like $10 a year. Now whatever is $100 a year, $150 a year. You're a member of New York Board of Rabbis, and Shalom Al Yisrael, you have a job. Me, I don't even have a job from being a member of New York Board of Rabbis, but I have a havamina, and maybe someday, if I need to get a job, I might as well just hang on to being a member of New York Board of Rabbis. And what did I get? I got a nice letter from Rabbi Potasnik when my father was nifter. So anyway, which was nice. I should do things like that, but I know I'm not that sentimental. I cried more when I got a flat tire Tuesday night than when my father passed away. But this is what I got to do with this car. So anyway, Rabbi Belitsky was saying that he was at some kind of a dinner or something with the Jewish Federation. He's like, how did I even wind up here? And they made a vote, and they said, do we believe in an afterlife? And they voted whatever it is, 65 to 35. No, they don't believe in Jews don't believe in the afterlife. That was the decision of the Jewish Federation. In Manhattan at some dinner they had, some meeting they had, that they don't believe in the afterlife. Like what? They don't believe in heaven. They don't believe, so they don't believe in heaven and hell. And like Rabbi Linsky, then he went on to explain the whole thing. Yes, of course, what are you talking about? Of course, Jews believe in the afterlife. What are you out of your mind, So, and he's like, what the hell was I doing there? Like, that's when he decided he's not going to those things anymore, So, they, so that was the story with that I wanted to bring out. And I remember one time there was like one of these History Channel shows, and they're talking about heaven and hell, and like then they ask, who do they have to ask? They don't ask me. They don't ask Rabbi Bart Zadok. I mean, nobody asked me anything. But I'm saying I don't think Rabbi Bart Zadok was involved with the History Channel at the time. But they asked Dennis Prager, what do Jews believe in the afterlife? And he said, well, I don't know, but like it's one of the 13 principles of faith that there's reward and punishment, and since we see that there's people don't always get what they're supposed to get here, so it must be an afterlife, which is true. But I'm just like, but they don't really talk about it, And the thing is, the Talmud does talk a little bit about heaven and hell, and really talks more about hell or Gehenna, or you want to call it purgatory, whatever. I mean, the thing is we're dealing with taking things from one language to another and comparing them to how other religions say it. So, is the Jewish view of heaven exactly like the Christian view of heaven? We call it heaven. We don't call it Shemayim. We call it Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, paradise. All right, but we definitely believe in reward and punishment in the afterlife. It's like the same thing was like on The Simpsons when they went to Israel, and like, Krusty the Clown came along to the trip with the church to Israel, and like, Krusty, what are you doing here? It's like, well, I believe every Jew should visit Israel once in their lifetime. I don't want to go to hell. And then Lisa's like, oh, but Jews don't believe in hell. He's like, really? And then he went and did something he shouldn't have done. But people have struggles. I recognize that. We could do tshuva. We could all do tshuva. I could also do tshuva. And that's why I got a flat tire the other night. Whatever it is. So we can all repent. We all got to repent, and we can all get to heaven. Don't worry. Like Bart Simpson said, he's planning on a deathbed confession. This, he can live a life of sin and a deathbed confession. And then the preacher said to him, "Yeah, but that's a good idea. But living a righteous life that protects for accidental death also. So, but the thing is the Christian view of heaven and hell really the Christian view of heaven and hell? Is the Muslim view of heaven and hell really the Muslim view of heaven and hell? All of these things are metaphors for much deeper ideas, and they're not. And we have to overcome the mythological aspects of that. And it's like the way Karen Armstrong always says, we have to stop confusing mythos and logos. In the Jungian sense, mythos is an informer of truth. We do derive truth from myths. We cannot just dispel myths, but we have to recognize the difference between prose and poetry. And it was interesting. I was watching last night. I fell asleep watching this, but the Bell Telephone Laboratories had, in the 1950s, a series of documentaries geared for children. But I don't think it would be, for today, it's more like for high school kids. But I showed it to my kids because I thought, first of all, the real reason why we were watching this, we how do we get to, before I get to that, Jews do believe in heaven and hell. CNN, you're wrong. I'm a rabbi. I have a funny hat. I have payas. I have a beard. I wear tzitzis. I put on tefillin this morning. We believe in heaven and hell. And the thing was what Donald Trump was saying was like, it's like they came from heaven. That type of came from heaven is not talking about an afterlife, heaven and hell. It's talking about an angel sent from heaven. That, of course, Jews believe in. Again, mythos and logos. I'm not saying this to confuse the mythos and the logos. But to say, he's translating Mistama, this guy in the Holocaust, who's saying the Americans, they came. What did Donald Trump say? That it's like they came from the sky, like they came from heaven. Now, in Hebrew, even though he wasn't speaking Hebrew, Shemayim, maybe he said Min HaShemayim. Shemayim means the sky, and Shemayim means the heavens. Los cielos, I think, in Spanish, it means both, something spiritual and mythological, and also means in logos the sky. And in Yiddish, which Mistama, I'm assuming this guy was speaking, it's a Gekommen von Himmel. The Amerikaner sind Soldaten sind Gekommen von Himmel. So the same thing. Himmel means the sky, and Himmel means heaven. It's the same. It's one word, means the same thing. So, in that context, there, it was totally inappropriate on any level. And obviously, he's not saying that they actually came out of the sky. They weren't paratroopers. He's saying, these were foot soldiers who, they came on foot to liberate them. They were army men. And the idiots at CNN are like, fact check, Jews don't believe in heaven. What the hell are you talking about? What the heaven are you talking about? It's like Ben Shapiro said this morning. I didn't even know about this till I heard Ben Shapiro. I was listening to YouTube this morning while I was getting ready to go to work, and he's like, you had one job. Jews don't believe in heaven. What kind of nonsense, It's like on South Park where they're climbing up and it's like Cartman. They're climbing up ladders trying to get to heaven, and Cartman is like, maybe we're not reaching heaven because one of us doesn't believe in it enough, because he's a JOO. He's like, Cartman, Jews do believe in heaven. What are you talking about? Kyle there. And then when he say, yeah, but that's there's a sale at I don't know what store he mentioned with it. So yes, where do you think a Christian's got the idea of heaven and hell? Everyone says, oh, they got it from the Greeks, or they got it because the New Testament was written in Greek, so the word for hell is Hades, which in the Greek mythology is also one of their gods, the god of the underworld and everything. No, all right, it's not in the even in what Christians would call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, there are things that the rabbis understand to be references to the afterlife. Meaning to say that by the time Christianity had developed, if you want to take it that way, which I personally believe that the rabbinical traditions are Mosaic in origin, to a certain extent. But again, all of these things are in the realm of mythos and logos. Like, you can't mistake mythos for logos and logos for mythos. It's hard to do that, I understand. And there's aspects of mythos and logos in almost every aspect of both the Bible, of rabbinical literature, and so forth. And we have to be educated, to know the difference between what we would call in Hebrew halacha and agadata. But and this was a clear mistake on this part of CNN when they're saying it's like they came from the sky, like they came from heaven, and then to say Jews don't believe in heaven, again, that's a total misunderstanding of mythos and logos. Like, it's just totally backwards. When he's saying something in a mythos sense, in a poetic sense, and then to say Jews don't believe in heaven, even if that's true, which it's not, but you're talking about Reformed Jews, I don't know. But so anyway, do you want to hear about the Bell Laboratories? I mean, they actually showed this to us in high school, I remember, and I loved it because it's something from the 50s, and the thing was like it had Richard Carlson, who was from The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and It Came from Outer Space, and I don't remember the professor's name, who was the guy who introduced the movie The Mole People. It was like down. So it's just like we were watching. I mean, we all fell asleep very soon in there. It was funny, like when it went to the commercials and they're talking. It was because I put on TCM and we watched like a scene from the Fantastic Voyage. It's called, right, where the movie from the 60s with Raquel Welch, where they go into the guy's body. Oh my gosh, I'm making a big mistake driving like this. But I gotta get to work, So, at least I'm not looking at the phone, which I would be doing if I wasn't making a video. I'm almost there, and I'm already late. It's like, it doesn't matter. I still have to stay the extra 15 minutes. So, alright, we're turning somewhere over here. It's very foggy today. So anyway, the hemo who represented blood, and he's greeting the animals in this cartoon, and he says to them, Shalom Aleichem, and they answer Aleichem Shalom. And then the scientist, the guy from the beginning of the Mole People, he said, he gave this whole explanation of how, the informers of truth. I mean, you should check this out. It's on YouTube, called Hemo the Great. Oh my gosh. I hope I don't. I gotta get to work. I don't have time for potholes. I'm almost there, and I'm not gonna clock in now on time. Maybe could I clock? They're not gonna let me clock in at Sallyport. Whatever it is, I'll accept the 5-minute rule. So, so he was explaining, that there are informers of truth that include science, and not to negate science, but he included in their religion, and how important religion is as an informer of truth, how important poetry is as an informer of truth. All of these things that we have to kind of recognize. So, to conclude, Jews do believe in heaven. We have Gan Eden, we have Gehinnom, and there's all different. There's Chiyas HaMesim, there's the resurrection of the dead, which will be a physical resurrection, which other religions believe in. I know the Catholics believe in that, the Orthodox Christians believe in that, many Protestants believe in that there will be a physical resurrection. That's why I think that the Muslims believe in that. So that's the big goal. But like, while we're waiting, that's kind of the way the Jewish understanding is, and I think again a lot of the other religions have that idea as well. That while we're waiting for the resurrection, what's going on here? We're waiting in the Olam and the Shamas. There's some place where we wait. I mean, these people are late too, so if they're late, if they're not late, I'm not late. So I can't really see because of the fog. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we will see you all later. Thank you.